They say love is in the air in February. I couldn't tell. Why? Because I'm getting my ass handed to me. Literally. It's probably been one of the coldest streaks that I've been in ever in my gambling history. And I've been gambling for 10 plus years at this point. But listen, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're going to turn it around. We have some college basketball plays on the way today. Let's get into it. This is the Free Three.
I love it, Noble. Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. By going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA Blowout Association today.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13 seconds.
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You
We
got
had a
barbecue back
sweep
there,
on the
and you
board
didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Good morning and welcome into a Thursday episode of the Free Three. I forgot the name of my show there for a second. It is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make some money. Making money, I can't say that's what we've been doing here on the channel. We've actually been donating money to the sports books recently. It's been a very, very rough start to this month of February, a rough end to January, and it's been like, oh my goodness, a roller coaster over the past week here. Now, normally what I normally say in situations like this is one, feel free to fade me, okay, guys? I'm giving you the plays that I like. I'm giving you the plays that I'm taking, the things that I'm taking a look at, okay? And sometimes I take bets and I don't put it out there, or sometimes, like, you know, everything that I put out I do take, so it's not something where I'm not taking what I put out, but I do want you guys to know, like, hey, if you want to fade me, if you want to take an alt spread, if you just want to see and track how the bet does and say, you know what, Noble, I don't want to tell you right now in this sport, that's fine. Be my guest. We're here every single day. We cover every single major sport. We got baseball on the horizon coming up. We've got nothing but college basketball and NBA. And then obviously we have the Super Bowl this weekend. But, you know, use your own discretion, okay, guys? Because I'm going to be honest, it's been a rough few days for us here on the channel. Yesterday was an 0-2 day here, and I hate to say that. Like, I love sweeps on the other side. I hate full fades. Yesterday, we took the 76ers team total over 108.5. That missed. We took Stanford minus 2.5. That missed. I added a parlay later, so if you guys are following us on Action Network, I added a parlay earlier in the day, a bankroll builder, IPFW and Creighton, both to get to win a plus 131 odds. That cashed in, so that helped us save a little bit of money, but overall, we're still down about $90 or so for the day. You can see real quickly, real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see yesterday we went technically 1-2, but 0-2 in the channel. You can see how we've done over the last 7 days. 6 of 18 over the past week. It's been rough, guys. I'm not going to lie. But we have a lot of time. It's just the beginning of the year. We're only in month 2. So hopefully your bankroll is not blown just yet. And stick with me because I promise you guys we're going to make all this money back and then some. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're going to find different ways to be profitable here. So make sure you guys are smashing that subscribe button. Make sure you're liking this video. And I'll also coming back every single day, so this way you guys can see what I'm taking, and then you guys can use whatever discretion that you want to, so this way we can continue to beat the books together. And if you have a best bet, drop it in the comments below. I'm always looking to tell people, okay? I go on Surgical Stream every day, not just to pitch my plays, but to listen to see what other people are doing. I go on other guys' streams like Ramble, like Ref. I go on different people's I tune into different people's shows, so this way it's not just my insights and my kind of wrongness that I'm going with. I'm taking a full scope, all right, guys? For today's video, I'm going to give you guys another player prop in the Super Bowl. So every day this week, I've been giving you guys one Super Bowl bet a day. So this way, by the time Sunday comes, we already have 4, 5, 6 bets already in the chamber at better numbers before all the lines move crazy. And then I'll also give you 2 college basketball best bets that I like on today's slate, all right? So very simple video. I'm not touching NBA today. Why? Because it's a trade deadline. I don't know who's playing. I don't know who's not. People are getting traded in the middle of games. We got fans updating the players about what's going on. Did you guys see the Heat yesterday? Literally traded Jimmy Butler in the middle of the game, and there was a fan informing Kevin Love and Hawkes and the other members on the bench about what happened in the trade. I don't want to deal with that, okay? So we'll go back and we'll touch NBA tomorrow and after the Super Bowl, okay? We've got literally NBA until June. Just chill out, all right? We got a little bit of time. So for today, let's do Super Bowl and let's do some college basketball best bets. Let's get into it, and yeah, let's have a day. So first best bet of the day, my friends. The first one that we're going to look here is, let's talk about the Super Bowl real quickly. I'm going to drop a full video that's probably going to be released either tomorrow or early Saturday on my breakdown of the game and what I think is going to happen and why the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just going to come out and tell you straight up why the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. But I've been adding player props. So far this week, we've added Jalen Hurts over 18.5 completions. We've added Isaiah Pacheco under 5.5 carries. And for today, we're going to do a different type of one. We're going to go Mr. Patrick Mahomes over 29.5 rushing yards for our third player prop that we like in the Super Bowl. Now, let's look at Patrick Mahomes real quickly, because if you look at his numbers in the Super Bowl specifically, Patrick Mahomes tends to rely on his legs a little bit more later on in the season, especially in these big games. If you could see, in the last 3 Super Bowls, he's gone over this number. 33 rushing yards against Tampa Bay, 44 in the last matchup against the Eagles, and then 66 last year against the 49ers. The only time he went under this number was his very first Super Bowl back in 2020 against the 49ers, and he hooked, and he still got 9 attempts. And it's probably why he lost this bet was because, or didn't go under this 30 number, was probably because he took a few knees at the end of the game, considering the fact that the Chiefs won that game as well. So for me, I like Mahomes here. The Eagles, we know how strong their run defense has been. Top run defense in all of the NFL this season, top 5, I should say. And Kareem Hunt, he's not been as explosive as we're used to seeing. His line, his total, if we go to DraftKings real quickly, and you want to look at some of the rushing lines, Kareem Hunt's at 43.5. You can see that we've got Mahomes at 29.5, and we got Pacheco at 21.5. So we took Pacheco's under yesterday in carries, because I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of touches. And I think that Mahomes is going to be the second leading carrier on this team. Now, if you want to take his rush attempts over 5.5, I'm not opposed to that as well. Again, if we look at his Super Bowl game log, he's had 9 attempts, 6 attempts, 5 attempts, 9 attempts. So he's gone over this number in 3 of the 4 games. So if you want to do the over 5.5 attempts, I like that as well, and that also gives you a few kneel down insurances if you feel like the Chiefs are going to win, because they'll probably kneel down a few times towards the end of the game, and then therefore that adds as rush attempts. So if you want to go over 5.5 rush attempts, I'm not opposed to it, but I do like sorry, that's a search screen spreadsheet, but I do like Patrick Mahomes here, just over 29.5 rushing yards. He can break one for 15 yards, and then we know how much that the Chiefs like to do misdirection, RPOs. So there's going to be a few times where I believe that he's just going to have to keep the ball and take off for himself, and we know what the Eagles defense likes to do. Take away the explosive play. So they're not going to allow a whole lot of down the field throws from Mahomes. Everything's going to be in front of them, and if that's the case, then sometimes Mahomes is just going to have to use his leg to pick up 5, 6 here, 3 or 4 there. Mahomes is really good in these big games about making first downs manageable. He does not get his team typically into 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 12s. They're normally 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 3s. And part of the reason why he does that is because his legs will pick up a few yards on 2nd down or 1st down. That's why Mahomes has had the success that he has. Everybody looks at the throwing numbers. Everybody looks at the offense and how explosive it is. Don't get me wrong. Him and Travis Kelce, great chemistry. But Mahomes is genius in terms of giving his team positions to win by making it easier for them is what really stands out for me as a quarterback. So I'm going to go over 29.5. And if you want to look at some of the other playoff game logs from Mahomes real quickly, really in just big games, championship games or Super Bowls, he typically tends to go over this number. So we can look real quickly here. In the AFC Championship against the Bills, he had 43. Super Bowl, I mentioned, 66. AFC Championship the year before against Baltimore, only 15 there. But against the wild card, you can see he had 41, 44 against the Super Bowl in 2023. You can see 69 in the divisional against the Buffalo a few years ago. So he's used to using his legs. And I think that's the advantage that we're going to get today. Mahomes over 29.5 rushing yards is our third Super Bowl pick that we've locked in and our first for today. Now, as we go over now to the college basketball slate, we have a few games that are on deck for today that I think are pretty interesting. Like I mentioned, we're not touching NBA today because of the NBA trade line, so we'll be back after the Super Bowl weekend when it comes down to the NBA, okay? A lot of games on, but typically what we've seen on Thursday nights is we're getting a lot of mid-majors, some of those ball sack state schools that nobody really knows about, right? So we are going to do a bankroll builder with some of those programs today, but there is one game between top 25 teams. Well, one top 25 team, that's Maryland here, and they're the only top 25 team that's playing today, and I'm going to take them on the money line today against Ohio State. Now, if you want to lay the plus 1.5, be my guest. I'm just not a fan of doing that because if they lose the game by one, they lose the game by one. So the way that I look at it is if they lose this game, they're going to lose it by more than 2 points, all right? We're locking in Maryland for 1 unit down on the money line against Ohio State. So why are we taking Maryland against Ohio State? I just don't like the way that this Ohio State team is looking. Maryland, you can see they've strung together 4 straight wins. We're using KenPom here for this. 4 straight wins, including 2 road games and 2 tough places to play, like Illinois, like Indiana. Those are not winning road games at Northwestern or DePaul or Washington. These are very tough places to play. We know about the Fieldhouse in Indiana. We know how raucous a crowd they get in Illinois. But then to come back home and to grab a win against a very strong Wisconsin team, to cover the number in that game as well, was very impressive. And that is why I want to fade. That's why I want to fade Ohio State in this matchup. I get it. This is a classic get right spot. We have a very short line, and Ohio State is at home, which is advantage Ohio State. But the problem with me with Ohio State is they're just so streaky. And the problem also is they're very banged up right now. They're missing several players, including their starting power forward, who was kicked off the team or he's suspended because of some gambling allegations and stuff like that. I don't even know what's going on over there, but they're not at full strength. And this is a Maryland team. If we scroll back real quickly, they have not played a game since last Wednesday. Talk about rested legs. So you had time to fly in. You had time to get rested over the past week and get healthy. Yes, you haven't had any live action. Sometimes you come out a little bit rusty, but I think that's advantage Maryland here because this is a team that could use the rest after literally playing Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, and 2 of those games were being on the road. So I like the fact here, and then seeing how Ohio State blew the game against Illinois last game out. They were up in that game by literally 8-10 points with about 5 minutes left to go. And they'll let Illinois go on a crazy run down the stretch. And that's really what you get out of this Ohio State team. They're going to beat Purdue on the road. And then they're going to lose to Indiana at home. They're going to beat Minnesota in double overtime on the road. Then they're going to lose to Oregon at home. Like, it's frustrating to bet with this Ohio State team. You can see some of their losses. And when they're hitting their shots offensively, they're very tough to stop. But the problem is they don't have the size that can compete with Maryland on the inside. And with them losing a power forward, with some of the injuries that they've been banged up with, and just to see that the way that they fell behind, or the way they lost that game against Illinois, it just doesn't give me a lot of confidence. Maryland, I like them in this spot. If we look at the Big Ten Conference standings real quickly, we've got Purdue at 10-2. We've got Michigan State at 9-2. With Michigan at 9-2. And you can see Maryland right here at 7-4. And then we'll probably see UCLA drop 1 more game or 2. Same thing with Wisconsin. And we're keeping in mind that this is one of those conferences where you want to be in the top 4 or 5 seats because that's how you get the bye, the double bye in the conference tournament. So for me, this is a very good spot here for Maryland to steal a win on the road, which will help your resume as well. KenPom has this as a 2-point loss for Maryland, but I could not disagree more. I've seen Maryland pick up a few road wins, like we said recently, getting over that hump, and I think that gives them the confidence here. I like it at plus money. We're taking Maryland plus 114, plus 115. If the line keeps moving in favor of Ohio State and you can get it at 3.5, 4.5, plus the points from Maryland, okay, be my guest. But at plus 1.5 right now, I'm taking Maryland on the money line. We're locking that in for pick number 2. Now, our third and final best bet of the day is going to come with a little bankroll builder. We didn't really do one officially on the channel yesterday, but we did add one a little bit later. So if you're not following Noble Living on Action Network right here, it's free to follow me. Tells you when I post my plays, you'll get an alert that comes out on your phone. It says Noble Living just added a play. So if you guys are looking for some added plays I'm going to be adding throughout the day, make sure you guys are following us at Noble Living on Action Networks to grab those plays. But our bankroll builder of the day is going to be 2-3 teams that you guys are very familiar with. We've taken them several times here on the channel, and I know they've burned us a few times, but we're not going to go away from them. So if you're a fan, then we're going to keep rocking with it. Our 3-team steam for today is going to be Merrimack, Central Connecticut, and then we're going to throw in UNC Asheville in there. So we know Merrimack and Central Connecticut are 2 kind of like catalyst inside of our bankroll builders. And the reason why that is because, like I mentioned a few weeks ago when we lost on McNeese, there are going to be times, guys, where we're going to lose on these mid-majors. It's going to happen. But the thing is, they are going to lose 1, 2, maybe 3 times in their conference. And that's what gives me confidence to take them on the money line every single other time. Today, Merrimack is at home against Niagara. And you can see Niagara is ranked 322nd on KenPom. Just god-awful. We were on Merrimack in this game against St. Mary's, right? They lost that game, but you can still see 9-2 in conference. Their 2 losses came to Quinnipiac and Mount St. Mary's. Probably the 2 best teams in conference besides Siena. Well, Niagara is near the bottom of the conference. If we go here to the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference standings real quickly, you will see that Niagara is right now 3rd to the bottom, 3-7 in conference. And given the fact that Merrimack just lost the other day at home and they went on the road, beat Ryder on the road, I'd like them back at home again in a bounce back spot to really say, you know what, we lost last time at home. Let's defend the home court. We're home next game against Canisius, so we don't have to, it's not really a look ahead spot. Don't overthink it. Merrimack on the road, at home as our first leg. Now, UNC Asheville is really the team that this parlay is built around because they're giving us the best odds. You can see at -245. They're at home against Gardner-Webb today. Those 2 teams, UNC Asheville and Merrimack, those 2 teams together get you about -125 odds. So that's not too shabby, okay? Now, if we go to KenPom, we look at UNC Asheville. First and foremost, they're ranked 170th on KenPom. For a mid-major in a conference like the Big South, you always want to keep your ears up and eyes open when you've got a team ranging between 150 to 200. That's probably the NCAA tournament team from that conference. They're 16-6 on the year overall and 7-1 in conference. Their only loss in conference came in their very second game and actually their first road conference game. So that's a very explainable loss. But since then, they've strung together 6 straight wins, which you can see right here, in both road and home fashion. And now they're back at home against a Gardner-Webb team that they literally beat a few weeks ago by 8 points on the road. So not only are you at home, but you're facing a team that you've had success against in the past. And then if we look at the Big South Conference standings, you can see they're 7-1 right now. High Point was projected to win this conference at 13-3, but right now they're 8-2. So UNC Asheville, they're going to do everything in their power to keep High Point off their ass, because guess what's coming up in this very next game against High Point. So yes, this is that classic look ahead spot for UNC Asheville where they're probably looking ahead to this game for High Point and they might drop the ball. But the only thing about that is if this game was at home, I would be a little bit more concerned. But the fact that this game is on the road for them, it's like, hey, let's handle business at home and let's go on the road against High Point because that's the only time they face them here in the regular season. And probably that game determines who wins the conference in the regular season. So for me, I just want them to handle business against Gardner-Webb and they'll be able to get it done. Our third and final leg is going to be Central Connecticut here. And Central Connecticut, like I said, 150 to 200 range on KenPom. Those are what I'm always looking for against those mid-major schools. And you can see they're 16-6 on the year. In the Northeastern Conference, they're number 1 at 7-2. And now they take on a Fairleigh Dickinson team, which is ranked number 2 in conference. You can see right here at 5-3. But it's just like I mentioned, it's Central Connecticut's conference to win. Why? Because they dropped these first 2 early road or these 2 back-to-back losses in conference play. But since then, they were able to string together 5 straight wins. They face a Fairleigh Dickinson team that they just beat on the road a few weeks ago, 71-60. And the thing about Fairleigh Dickinson, the reason why I fade them is because of this number right here. 309th in offensive efficiency, 256 in effective field goal percentage. They really can't score the ball that well. They depend on their defense to lead to their offense. So for me, I like them today at home, Central Connecticut, to get it done. Now, that is the 3-team steam that we're locking in. That is the bankroll builder. You can see that gets us to plus 117 odds there. Now, a few other games that I'll just take a look at real quickly because we're on stream and we're live right now, and I've got a few people tapping in live. I appreciate all the love and support that you guys show on the live stream. A few teams that you could take a look at to add to this parlay or to switch around, right? Again, UNC Asheville is the leg that I want to build around. But if you don't like the fact that they're playing a High Point next game and it's a look-ahead spot, if you don't like the fact that Fairleigh Dickinson is the number 2 seed in the Northeast behind Central Connecticut and they might steal a win, You could do UC San Diego. I like them again. I like them to win today. Okay, I like them. Seattle against Tarleton State. This is more of a fade on Tarleton. Tarleton's not very good, and Seattle's one of those mid-majors that's a very tough place to play. So I do like Seattle, even though they're not as good this season as they are in years past. Let me scroll real quickly here. I do lean St. Mary's against San Francisco, but San Fran is at home and they have a really good offense, which could cause some problems for St. Mary's. So that might be a game I'm going to take a little bit more time to dive into. Utah Valley, one of the best teams in their conference, at home today against UT Arlington. You can add them. Bellarmine or North Florida against Bellarmine. 12-11 is North Florida, but Bellarmine's 3-20. But of their 3 wins, none of them have come in on. I don't think only one have been a D1 win. Everything else has been non-conference, non-D1 teams. They haven't even won a game in conference. So if you want to add North Florida today against Bellarmine, be my guest. We're not really getting any good odd value with Charleston. I like Maine. NJIT is more of a fade. I don't even know why they still have a sports program. It's like a technology school. They should just focus on that because they suck. Townsend against Stony Brook scares me a little bit, but I do like Townsend. Last time they played, Townsend was at home. They only won that game by 4 points. So to see now that they're getting 8 points on the road, that's tough. Stony Brook's been playing hard, but I mean, they just haven't been able to win games. So I'd probably take them just on the money line. Bryant today on the money line. I like them as well, but you're not really getting good odds value. I like Campbell at home against Elon today. They have the size advantage on Elon. Just scrolling through real quickly. Marist, I know they burned us in the past, so I didn't add them today on the road, but Fairfield is more of a fade team. I do like Marist on the road today. And then let me see if there's any other ones that you could add for your parlay bankroll builder here. I mean, Quinnipiac, obviously, but I mean, at that odds value, you're not going to get anything for them, or you could just get them first half. And then I think that's really, Siena at home today. St. Peter's can't score the ball at all. If you don't believe me, look at Seton Hall in their conference. Same type of offense, same type of flow. They can't score. So I just gave you guys a few leans that you can add to your bankroll builders if you're trying to like play around with a few games today. But I will have a few added plays a little bit later. But I just want to give you guys officially what I'm taking for today on the card. So real quickly, guys, so recap real fast what we're taking on today's episode of the Free 3. 2 best bets that we're locking in. Maryland on the money line at plus 114. And then we've also got the 3-way parlay with Merrimack, UNC Asheville, and Central Connecticut at plus 117. Keep in mind that we do have a few NFL player props for the Super Bowl already locked in. We've got Jalen Hurts over 18.5 completions, Isaiah Pacheco under 5.5 carries, and then today we added Patrick Mahomes over 29.5 rush yards. Every single day, well, tomorrow we'll be back with another best bet and also another play inside of the Super Bowl. So make sure you guys show up again tomorrow. I appreciate all the love and support, and as always, dictate your fate, get to that cheddar, and hopefully tomorrow we can celebrate a winning day. It's been so long. I think it's because I don't know if you guys have noticed. I think it's because I cut my hair. Like, I'm bald now, man. I took all the hair off. My hair was like down to here, and I took it off. Maybe that's why we've been so cold lately. It's like Samson. I lost my strength or something. I don't know what happened. But I'm going to get back in my bag, guys. I appreciate y'all showing love and support, and I appreciate y'all sticking by me. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So let's keep it going, all right, my friends? Let's get to that cheddar, dictate your fate, and as always, it's your boy Noble Living here with the Free 3 every single weekday right here, grinding out winners. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and as always, go Birds, fly Eagles fly, dictate your fate. See you tomorrow, gang.